Howdy everyone, it's me once again, the one and only Killer Rodan. And today, I'm going to be talking about lost cinema. Yep, I'm a top secret agent that keeps talking about movies and whatnot. Well, it's my channel, I do whatever I want. So, I'm going to be doing something Asian related again. Not that this series of videos have to be strictly just for that, but I'm just using it as a way to just explore different things and whatnot. Of course, as I said before multiple times already, is that getting into the film industry is a is a frustrating task unto itself. But once you finally get your foot through the door, that doesn't mean you're gonna have every idea you made. It's like one of the misconceptions a lot of people seem to think when it comes to movie making. A lot of people seem to think the moment you get you establish, once you at least you can start making your first movie, you're gonna be making whatever movie you want right away, which is not the case. Sometimes you can't just make whatever your movie to some absurd end. And it's possible to make your own movie, sure, but there's gonna be complications, is what I'm getting at. Just because you have everything ready, just because you have the camera set, just because you have a crew and all that, okay, you have everything prepared. But that again doesn't mean the movie itself is going to be made. There's going to be something get in the way. Yeah, this is pretty frustrating. That's not a frustration thing you're going to have to face, unfortunately. Not that I'm saying you can't make your own movie, but things aren't exactly always promised. Like, if this series of videos prove anything, things can get in the way. Or they just could just change their mind on the last minute. It could be just maybe a different creative differences, or just simply could be just that something didn't feel right, or whatever. It could be a number of things. Is what I'm getting at, folks. It can be a number of things, of course, and also be too many artistic interpretations of the story, and which also kind of get in the way as well. So different crews can change, different directors can change, different directors, different producers. A lot of stuff could be keep on changing, and that can get in the way as well. So yeah, it's pretty difficult when you think about it. It happens, and yeah, but unfortunately, this is kind of thing. This is more frequent than you think, unfortunately. But okay, moreover, let's just get to the point, the meat of the matter, I guess you can say. So it's gonna be titled Godzilla versus Godzilla Jr. So yeah, that's gonna be a pretty crazy thing they wanted to do. Have these two characters go at it and just battle and whatnot. But it's a kaiju film, of course you want to have a fight scene. And yeah, it's gonna be the intended idea for the to be released was in the mid 1990s, 95 to be exact. So yeah, this was actually an idea that was pitched by someone at the Toho company. So yeah, this was an actual thing that the individuals wanted to do. And they didn't go far. I guess you can say in the terms of when it comes to storyboarding it, because the story itself that was come up with it was a bit vague. I guess you can say. But then again, that tends to happen. You just come up with some ideas. I guess you can say whatnot when you with a group of people, and it was gonna be a part of course, the Hasty series of Godzilla films. Again, like I mentioned in the previous videos, is that on the other videos I've brought this kind of thing up before, is that it was just to ignore the Godzilla films from the vast majority of the previous Godzilla films from the earlier installments, except the first film, and thus create a new continuity, I guess you can say. So basically, the idea, the very little story they're going to use for this, it was going to be about that centered around Godzilla and his growing son, because for each movie he just gets bigger and bigger, Godzilla Jr. And there's going to be a fight to the death, pretty much. But it's going to end in a kind of way where the adult Godzilla would be fighting the G-Force with their anti-Godzilla weaponry, and that's about it, I guess you would say. The character of Miki Sugusa was, of course, going to play a major role in some ways because she's always the one who pretty much wants to take care of these monsters. Because the thing is that she feels like there's more to Godzilla than just being a destructive monster. She realizes that She knows that these monsters do have feelings, do have emotions, that there are more to these creatures than just being angry. And she had protests against the aggressive violence against these creatures from time to time. She doesn't like how the military would treat us all the time, so she had protests this kind of behavior before. So, if I take an educated guess here, she probably would have done the same thing and doesn't want these monsters to be pitted against each other just to make it easier for the military. Anyway, as far as the going into production, I guess you can say this was one of four drafts of the script, but that was submitted by the monster designer, that individual I showed earlier, who pitched the idea. And he was actually working on some other project. This was a replacement project, if anything. He had just he had decided to basically brainstorm some ideas of his own on on the side. Not many details actually known, I guess, said it before, aside from what maybe having a big battle between the Godzilla and his adopted son, taking place center stage in the plot and having a story built around that. The anti-Godzilla weaponry was said to have been resulted in the film for the Godzilla and the very end of the story, really. And how was the baby Godzilla gonna look like? I'm not sure, really. So yeah, that's just I'm not quite sure. But again, if I have to take any educated guesses when it comes to uh the way Godzilla would look, it would basically maybe something Godzilla Jr. from Godzilla vs. Destoroyah, because that's the movie that was ultimately made in '95 as a way to say like a grand finale for the Godzilla series. I mean, of course, this was not going to be the last Godzilla film, obviously, and this was just going to be the final one for now. Like a temporarily closing the chapter for a little while and then returning to later. Yeah, this was not intended to be the grand finale, like a lot of people seem to believe. And yeah, I mean, yes, it was the last Godzilla film in the Godzilla Heisei series. That is true. This was the Heisei series. This era Godzilla films was going to come to an end, and the Toho company, the company that made these films originally, wanted to close this chapter for this specific Godzilla series and make it end in a bang and some grand finale. So with that in mind, they're probably going to maybe doing that again with this Godzilla film if this version was of the story was actually produced. Again, I'm just saying a wild, educated guess there, based on what was already done and whatnot. So, yeah, this could have happened. Would this be good? Maybe. And maybe they'll have more, more of a, like, the end of the world kind of a thing, like they did some of the Godzilla films already, with the world at stake, and gotta take care of the powerful creature and whatnot. I don't know how that's gonna work out, if it's just gonna be between Godzilla Jr. and Godzilla himself. Yeah, I don't know what they will do specifically to make it that grand, like the end of the world kind of a thing. I don't know what they would do exactly because, like I said, there's not much I can work with really in terms of narrative overall. So the story itself does seem kind of weak, but that doesn't mean they can't work on it some more. That doesn't mean they can't, fix up and make it more, I guess, make it more epic. I guess you would say. Since this was going to be the final one of the Heisei series, well, one of many ideas really. Though they just have to pick a final grand finale for these series of films, for these movies specifically, to make sure you can end on a good note. So I'm pretty sure that we're going to add a few more things to it, and maybe add another monster in the royal battle, I guess you could say, to make it seem like the end of times or whatever and whatnot. And which, like I said, which they in a lot of ways they've done before. So this won't seem much of a stretch that they actually did. Godzilla and Godzilla himself did have a brief encounter together with Space Godzilla, so this notion doesn't seem much of a stretch, really. That could actually repeat in this version if it actually was produced, find a more powerful foe and whatnot. So yeah, for this film, yeah, I think maybe it could have turned out good if they actually done it right. There's some concept art that was done for this film. Yeah, this was probably one of the monsters. that looks like Godzilla and whatnot. And yeah, it goes into the other video I mentioned where there's gonna be a life form that was gonna be from uh that's connected to the original Godzilla film, in the sense that this life form was in Tokyo Bay and had been in hiatus for quite some time. And the whole bit with the oxygen destroyer gave it life and whatnot, then just got bigger and bigger and whatnot. So elements of that other project is in here as well, I guess, because this monster was going to be in the film as well. And I guess they were trying to use that as his origin story, I suppose. And maybe use him as an opponent in this film. I'm not quite too sure, but it might be that concept art you just showed a few moments ago. That was going to be a part of the film. And the original producer, Tomi Tanaka, and had wanted to give the character Godzilla himself, a 10-year break, meaning he was going to return to the series to make more movies and continue this specific storyline that the Heisei series Godzilla films had produced. And that's like what, 10 years? Yeah, 10-year vacation for the character. So he would just want to give the character quite a bit of a hiatus, I guess you would say, before returning to the cinema. And yeah, he did have storylines. I'll keep this part brief because I've mentioned this before. But the director, the producer, had produced well over roughly 200 features in his lifetime. And I guess he had no plans of retirement, to my knowledge. And he wanted to make more. And he clearly enjoyed making these movies. They are raking in the money most of the time anyway, so I can't blame him. Unfortunately, however, he did die of a heart stroke after Godzilla vs. Destoroyah was produced. So whatever idea, storyline, or whatever he had in mind, he basically took it to his grave, unfortunately. So we're not going to know how this would have turned out if he had actually returned to the Godzilla series. So as a result, the Godzilla Heisei series just completely stopped with Godzilla vs. Destoroyah. So any future Godzilla films that he wanted to do, like any other ideas, we'll never find out. You might be thinking, okay, maybe the company would have continued what he had in mind. But that's the thing. No, not even they knew the exact details of what was going on. So not even anybody else, for that matter, would have, continued what he had in mind specifically. Yes, the Millennium series was eventually made, yes. But it was not exactly what he had in mind, really. At least not like this. And yeah, and we have moments like, ugh, there's moments like these right here, folks. Which, no, that's so stupid. Just reminds me of this. Okay, just no, just makes me want to forget. It just make me forget what I just saw. Just no, just absolutely no. But anyway, point being is that this was going to be far more serious, of course, and the Godzilla films that would follow in the Millennium series was also going to be serious as well, because as I mentioned a moment ago, Tomi Tanaka wanted to continue this specific storyline from there onward. For how many more? I don't know. It could be 3 more, it could be 4 more, it could be 2 more, maybe 10 more Godzilla films following this specific Godzilla storyline from the Heisei series. I just don't know, educated guess, but he did have storylines in his mind that he was going to do. Just unfortunately, they were just never produced due to the fact that he died. So, that's whatnot. So, if anything, this specific Godzilla film that I'm talking about wasn't made because I guess they didn't have any faith in it or whatever. It was never explained as to why they ditched it. And I guess they just went on to something else that they felt that was better, I guess. Maybe it wasn't good enough. Maybe. I don't know. So, yeah, maybe they felt like maybe it didn't feel right to them, I guess. It could have worked. I'm not saying it wouldn't, but maybe yeah, it could have worked if it was done properly, I suppose. So yeah, it's just something that makes you think that how this film could have been, I guess. And yeah, I kind of wish they could return to this. They're gonna have to tweak it up because There's multiple different Godzilla films that's been produced nowadays, I guess you can say, but and whatnot. But yeah, it's just interesting to think, what could have been is what I'm getting at. It just makes you think what could have been. But yeah, I guess you can say that I can say the same thing with a lot of these other Godzilla films that were unmade. It just makes you think the same thing. What could have possibly been? Is it for the better or not? I don't know. I'm not quite sure. I'm just telling it. Again, I'm taking an educated guess. I know I keep saying that over and over again. It's starting to get repetitive. Alright, folks, I'm about to just end this video because it's quite lengthy as it is. I do appreciate anybody for watching these videos and whatnot. Just talking about and discussing certain things, certain aspects of these types of stuff, I guess you can say, because I like doing this. I really do. So it gives me a opportunity to talk about some kaiju related, something Asian or whatever. And I'm usually, not always, but usually talking about B movies anyway. That seems to be more my alley anyway. To come to think about it, especially when it comes to horror movies, really. When I think about it. Okay, whatever. Anyway, as always, thanks for watching and take care. Until next time, see ya. Oh yeah, later.